What up, y'all? I hope you're doing well. I am. I had a pretty fun night at work. We were busy. It was good. We didn't have the big cleaning projects to move everything around for tonight, so it's very exhilarating. It's like when you have a challenge, it sort of makes the mundane more pleasurable. Like if you get like dissatisfied with your usual resting normal and you're like, oh, this sucks, and you're in like the slog of the second act in life, you know, far from where you started, no end in sight, you know, all the sparkle has worn off of the situation. Try a little misery. Try a good hard challenge. And then when that's over, everything just feels so great again. It's like, have you guys ever had diarrhea? We were talking about Montezuma's Revenge at work earlier, and it's like, it's called different things in different places where you go, but it's if you drink the water in somewhere that you're not used to and the bacteria doesn't sit well, you have like just relentless and cruel and unforgiving diarrhea and vomiting. And it's like it's so awful, and you think you'll never feel good again. And you're so tired. So like when you finally get it all out and you've had enough time to like rest, and then your body started to recover and you can like get that first meal down again and you don't have diarrhea or throwing up, you're like, oh my God, I've never felt so good. This is what it is to be alive. And it's like nothing's really happened. It's just like you don't have diarrhea anymore. That was kind of like where I was at tonight. It's like euphoria. It was great. And then, you know, we had a good time. And yeah, no hostility. I've been talking with you guys about me realizing my hostility this week, which is great. More unfolding realizations there. You know, we've got our new moon at like 5:30 in the morning. I think maybe, would that be Eastern time on my other calendar? So it's going to be 4:30 in the morning here. So I'm going to get up and do our new moon workshop tomorrow and post it and edit it before work. So hopefully, I don't know why, but anytime there's a lunation, my uploads take forever. So I'm going to get up early. It's going to be the first thing that I do. I don't want to lie to you guys. And yes, but with new moons, when the new moon is actually happening, that is a void time. So you should be in void also, not trying to manifest during that moment. It's when the light starts to come back to the moon, right? When the presence of the light is there again and it's growing, that's the most powerful, potent time to use the new moon. So those first, like starting, you know, the hours or the moments following the new moon, that first day, those first 3 days, that's the strongest time to do ritual work and manifesting. And then, you know, according to like Kabbalah and Hebrew Kabbalah particularly, the new moon is the seed level energy for the whole month. So it affects the whole month. So we'll have that tomorrow. So bear it in mind. But yeah, the Leo new moon is just making everything so much more lighthearted. It's like we're seeing this like new way forward. We know what we value, who we are in the world, and whatever has been just kind of casting a shadow or a heavy burden or has been blocking us, just sort of like lifting. And we're just kind of like open now to like be kind of free of the burden of the heaviness and just kind of be lighthearted and go forward unencumbered like the Fool. All right, so we're here for our Oracle manifestation reading for the week, and we're using our Magical Mermaids and Dolphins by Doreen Virtue. It's a discontinued deck. There are probably bootleg copies out there, but I don't know how good they are. And that's why I use it every week with us, so we get to share it together. And this deck is particularly geared toward manifestation, and that's the reason why I use this particular one. So we're checking in with our dreams and our goals and the things that we want to call in and create for ourselves. So what do we need to know about how we can be in alignment with like divine guidance and plan for that this week to really move forward, to overcome our, pitfalls and to open up to more and more of our potential? self-employment. You're a born entrepreneur and your business is surrounded by magical opportunities. So if you have creative ideas for entrepreneurial pursuits, this might be a really good time to make note of those ideas this week and start like following on down the little rabbit hole of how you can start step by step making it happen. If you've been wondering if like part of this whole so the north node and the south node of the moons have just shifted, and so the north node is now in Aries and the south node is in Libra. And, all of these other things have been happening over the last year or two that's really getting us in alignment with our authenticity and our purpose and what we want to do and what we want to create and how we're going to go about it and what we need to do to make it happen. And it's like now we're like showing up as this new person and we're interrelating with people differently and we're going after our values differently. And so now it's like, okay, the Leo energy is like, all right, let's get to it. Let's get devoted. Let's get committed. Let's be proud of what we want and confident about it. But also there's this like lighthearted energy coming about. The Leo is ruled by the sun. It's like the brightest, most illuminated, shining, giving, right? Like gives and gives and gives. When we talk about the creation phases from Kabbalah, creation phases 1 through 4, 4 is the fulfillment of the manifestation. And the only way to get there is to give like the sun to your dream, to your building the vessel for what you are trying to call in. And you have to continue to maintain giving to that. So perhaps you are feeling like part of what you want to pour your resources and focus and energy in, it's more in alignment with your purpose. And maybe you have these ideas coming up this week for ways to create and follow that. So follow that. And maybe, there's a dream that you have that is maybe not here immediately, but it's out there on the horizon and it has to do with self-employment. So do what you need to do now to slowly build that up, right? And then, focus your energy on what's going to be the most efficient way to get there, right? Don't get scattered and chase a bunch of shiny objects, right? Be practical. What's the best plan of action to focus in on really what you're valuing and what you want to create? But it could self-employment, your business could be really blessed right now. People might really need your idea or what you have to offer. And it might be unique to you and your purpose. And you might be able to deliver it in such a way that others couldn't. So there you go. Positive energy. Surround yourself with positive people and situations and avoid negativity. So yeah, negativity, it's like we shouldn't deny the darker parts of ourselves. We shouldn't deny those feelings, but we don't want to get wrapped up in the story. We want to observe the story. It's like, okay, what is the narrative here that I'm getting caught up in without getting caught up in the story, right? Like where you forget and you get sucked into the bad dream, right? Observe the dream. Like you're remembering a dream. Oh, okay, I see the story here is playing out this way, or I think it's playing out this way or whatever. You're observing it, but you don't get caught in it. That way you can catch yourself in your triggers. And before you follow into the same pattern, you can stop and interrupt it and reprogram. So the negative feelings you can learn from. You can look at them positively as opportunities that highlight the things that may be sabotaging you. But negative energy in general, to carry it around all the time and to really hold on to it and hold on to that suffering, it's so toxic and it really drags you down and it blocks you off from receiving. Because in order to prepare our vessel to receive, we have to have affinity with the light. And it's just, that's the rules of the game, right? Whether we like it or not. And it's not to say that sadness and anger and things aren't just natural seasons of life. They are. It's just part of our humanity. But we need to know how to allow those emotions and feelings to digest through and not get stuck on them. And also question and push up against our perspectives. This week I had, negative energy come out of me, and then somebody, had their negative energy come back at me. But it was like, oh my gosh, I needed that in that moment to have the shift of perspective. And I was triggered, and I won't lie, it was not pleasant. But then I was like, oh, okay, I see, I'm triggered right now. I want to shift. I want to shift my perspective and energy here. And it wasn't like my ego was still fighting with me on it, but I was determined, and I wrestled with it, and I sat with it all night and all day. And then by the next day, I was really shifted, and I saw it differently, and I embraced that opportunity to transmute that and get back into a positive energy. And sure enough, next day I went into work, had a positive energy, had a great night, good money night, had a good time, and then tonight, same. And so for your dreams, you don't want to deny your feelings, but you want to be able to get them out, purge the vessel without like holding on to the suffering, right? Think of it as digesting and moving through. If you deny the feelings, they will stay trapped. So you need to see them, and you need to feel them, and you need to observe what they're telling you. Do you need to make adjustments in your life? Do you need to make first adjustments within yourself? I knew that it didn't matter if I changed my behavior, I was still going to be seething on the inside. That's why you have to change the inside first. It starts at a seed level, an energy level, a consciousness level. It's like change on a spiritual level, the consciousness first. Then your outer physical efforts will be productive. They'll be effective. Had I not changed the hostility or the thing that was affecting me to have an angry perspective, like it was like a low level thing that I didn't realize was boiling up, coming out even outside of my awareness, right? So even if I try to put on a smile, the energy is still going to be there. It's still going to be under the surface. I'm still going to be triggered, right? You can't lie. Your vibration doesn't lie. So first, wrestle with yourself. Inside your head, it's like, inside your heart. And get to that shift in perspective where you can like shift to unconditional love, sharing. And it's not the same as denying your own needs or negative, toxic self-sacrifice. It's because you still need to love yourself and take care of yourself too. It's like you can't give to others unless you're giving from your overflow. Or else it's going to be a weird, toxic, codependent situation. So it's like you need to fill yourself on your own from the inside with your relationship to source, right? And your resources. It trickles out into the physical as well. So like get yourself to a state where you are maintained, and then that overflows out, right? So yes, positive energy, surround yourself with positive people and situations, and avoid negativity. I feel like I went all over the place with that, but I think there was a bunch of valuable information, and it might make more sense in the end. But yes, so when you are putting your thoughts out there, that sends out the radio signal, or the, the signal. But in order to get what you're ordering out from the universe, you have to be magnetic. And it's the feelings, it's the positive expectation, it's the relaxed state that puts you in a better position of magnetism. All right. What else do we need to know? Mother healing. As your feelings toward your mother heal, your desires manifest more rapidly and accurately. So mother wounds affect our self-worth and our sense of value. And so we also had father wounds coming up this week. It's like, how are we out in an outer way expressing things that our fathers did or were guilty of, or were, guilty of being at and to us? Like, what'd your father do to you that was harsh, that left a wound, or that it was maybe too weak that left a wound, or, like spoiled or something? What was it that your father did that that left a wound or an impression or programming or a paradigm with you that you're now acting out and repeating, right? That was sort of like what the pattern was connected to earlier in the week. So in the inner pattern, what's on the inside, that would be what the mother is affecting, right? The feminine. That would be the inner world. So how do you feel about yourself? What kind of paradigms and patterns did you witness in your mother? And it affects your ability to attract love and money, right? It's Venus related. So in what ways, like, how was your mother with money? How was your mother at manifesting her energy, or, a masculine energy, for instance, your father or whatever? Because in Kabbalah, it's unfortunately for us females, it's like one of the main purposes of the feminine is to manifest the energy and the vision of the masculine. And so it's part of the electrical current that goes into positive, negative, and neutral in the universe. And so for each person with the positive or the masculine and feminine within them, this is like your feelings about yourself, your feelings about life, your impressions about life, your sense of worth is going to be the thing that manifests your vision ultimately. The way that you feel about yourself is going to affect the way that you take action and how you act and how you create, right? The outer action. So just consider that. So mother healing. And the more you forgive your mother, the more you can forgive yourself. And the more you heal your own things within yourself, the more it can heal your mother. It's so weird. This past week, me and my mom went to lunch and she had this huge breakthrough. And it was about something that was related to stuff that I had been working on and studying too. And she wouldn't have known that. But it was so interesting because in that moment, I thought about all the oracle cards every time that say something to the effect of, like, don't worry, like, as you heal, so do the people around you. And you're like, why do I have to suffer? I don't want to hear this. I hate this answer. And then, like, when it actually happens and you see it happening, you're like, oh my God, it's quite beautiful. Like, my healing is like, because we're all like, we have these soulmates, right? These soul contracts, especially with your parents. And so it's like when you heal, you and your other soulmate people, you're all connected. You share parts of soul and soul group and soul contract together. So it's like when you are activated, it's like that activates them too. When you're healed, the parts of them are healed as well. So how interesting is that? So yes, as your feelings toward your mother heal, then your feelings toward yourself are going to heal too. And you're going to feel more secure on the inside. And so that's going to start reflecting in more security on the outside and more abundance and more secure relationships, generally speaking. Okay. Ooh, what is this last one? Oh, I've got two. Yee. Alchemy, you have the Midas touch right now, and every project you begin turns to gold. So yes, ride the wave of tomorrow's new moon in Leo. This is the blue moon month. I can't remember whether this is already, we have 2 full moons this month. So this potent, like, new moon is sandwiched between the full moon that we just passed and is there a full moon at the beginning? Yes, on the 1st. And we still have another full moon to go at the end of this month. So this Leo energy, it's like, it's so optimistic and it's so roaring to go and so confident and like lighthearted and optimistic and devoted to its cause and proud. So keep that energy up and make sure to make use of getting focused on your prayers tomorrow, or probably today when you're watching this. The new moon is on Wednesday. Wednesday the 16th, maybe. I think today was the 15th. So yes, if you can do that, sometime in this week, that would be great. But that energy is going to continue for the rest of the month. But take advantage and take action towards your dreams. Even a couple of 3 small steps towards your goal within these next 2 weeks within the waxing phase will demonstrate a lot to the universe. So whatever it is that you want to manifest specifically, take 3 action steps toward that thing over the next couple of weeks in the waxing phase. And do your best to set really clear intentions. Maybe do some journaling just after the new moon within those first 3 days. Explore your options. It's time to look at other possibilities. It's a good time to make changes. So yeah, especially with, the self-employment card coming up. And then, it's like anything you do right now turns to gold. Don't think that there's only one option. Explore different routes, different possibilities. There could be different ways of doing things, right? There's like, for instance, in production, there were always multiple options, right? Each had their own variables. Each had their own pros and cons. Each had their own criteria. But you're never going to search for an option in production without having some backup options. Because immediately you're going to go to the person and you're going to be like, here it is. And they're going to be like, okay, is this the only thing that you found? Like, what else is there? Because you have to compare. Maybe you'll get a better deal. Maybe there's a hidden hiccup that you didn't foresee coming, hidden costs, fine print that they don't mention. So unless you know to ask ahead of time, it's like that can be something that kind of like gets you stuck. So don't feel like you have no options ever. That is one of the tricks of the Satan, the adversary, is to make you think that you're backed up against the corner and there's no other option and there's no other way out. So just remember that you always have options. That belief, that is the certainty in the light. The light is everywhere, always, all the time, in every moment. And so the moment that we remember that and remember that we can activate the light and have that relaxed certainty, that's when options come through. But you have to be open to those options, right? So don't get stuck in tunnel vision. Just know that you have choices. And then be open to exploring those, because the universe, it can deliver your manifestation in a lot of different ways, but it's going to give you the path of least resistance. Well, if you're not open to receiving something except for this one specific way and thing in on your, all of your criteria and your timeline, then the universe is going to be like, well, I'm hard pressed for you, sis, because lots of things are involved, including people's free will. There's got to be collaborators and parts and pieces moving, for this specific thing. Whereas if you are open to other options, then other opportunities might come through. For instance, if you're obsessed over working for some specific company, there could be hidden things about that company that you don't know about that are actually kind of sucky. Whereas if you are open to other options, you might interview at a place that has all the core desired things that you wanted. It's just at a different place, and maybe there's hidden bonuses, right? Maybe the people there are better, right? So you just never know. Just make sure that you're going into a positive environment. Make sure that the choices that you're making are sending you in a positive direction. So yeah, lots of things that you can create right now. You have plenty of options. Just about anything that you do right now could have a positive result. It's just about that perspective and being open to universal help and support. So keep your options open. Things are coming through. Work on healing and continuing to do that mother wound searching, and pay attention if that comes up, is highlighted to you this week. Something that comes up that says that either makes that something questions your value, or maybe that makes you question your value, or maybe it gives you a perspective of how far you've come in the way that you value yourself, right? But something about this week is going to highlight how we feel about ourselves and mother wounds, and maybe there are patterns that we played out and dynamics with our mom that we are going to shift, that we don't have to keep playing out in other relationship dynamics. We're breaking patterns and we're breaking curses. Same thing we did with our dad. It's okay, mom stuff too this week. Okay, well, very interesting. I hope you guys have a good week ahead. happy new moon for tomorrow. I will see you hopefully earlier in the day. It's like say our prayers that the manifestation like oracle full new moon workshop won't get trapped in the void of upload. All right, y'all. Ciao.